Hi, everyone, and thank you very much for inviting UNEP to the 23rd INTOSAI Working Group on Environmental Auditing Assembly. I'm delighted to share a little bit about the InforMEA platform, which promotes access to information on multilateral environmental agreements. So I have a few slides to support my presentation to you all today. I hope you'll find this worthwhile. I hope you find it interesting. And also, I hope it's a useful topic for your deliberations. So, InforMEA is just one part of UNEP Law Division's work on collective intelligence for environmental governance. And it's really been steadily evolving over the last 15 years. While I don't want to take us too far back in time, I think it's also quite useful to reflect a little bit on what InforMEA is and why InforMEA was created. Because really, before its development, policymakers, negotiators, and stakeholders, they face difficulties in navigating these multiple MEAs, treaties, and agreements that are really scattered across different secretariats and different websites. So making it a little bit difficult to access, to compare, and then also to track obligations. And countries really struggle to align their policies with multiple MEAs and then obviously to track their commitments to environmental governance frameworks. There wasn't any centralized or user-friendly platform to be able to find treaty texts and COP decisions, reports, but also country-specific legal frameworks. And then there was also limited interoperability between MEAs, which also made it difficult for users to understand the linkages between agreements and their contributions to global sustainability goals. But InforMEA really changed that. It was built on pure determination, intense networks, bringing together multiple MEA secretariats and a mammoth amount of information that was then weaved into one centralized, searchable digital platform. And over the years, it's just continued to grow. And you can see that by the number of tabs at the top. So constantly adding information, adding data, and also trying to add it with speed in collaboration with the MEA secretariats. It brought forth a place where users, and here I'm referring to parties, non-parties, observers, students, the general public, and basically just, curious users of the internet, where they could all go to find everything on international environmental law. A centralized hub, a searchable digital repository, bringing together treaties, cases, and then deeply searchable country profiles, all in one place. And of course, there is the popular e-learning section, which was developed to respond to the need for more support for capacity building. And at this moment, we have over 50 free online e-learning courses. And these courses are supporting, I think the number is around 70,000 learners from more than 190 countries. That's basically all of the, a massive majority of UN member states. And the courses are regularly undergoing enhancements, including to their language versions. And then there's also the newest MEA SDG mapping, which helps to link legal frameworks, and you can see it on the screen. So the biodiversity, the Kunming-Montreal Biodiversity Framework, and other legal frameworks to SDGs. But InforMEA also provides the technical architecture for national legislation on different thematic areas under environmental law. For instance, we host the UNEP Law and Environment Assistance Platform, which can also be accessed through the Legislation tab, which is the Law and the Cases tab on the main InforMEA screen. And this National Environmental Law Platform is also known as LEAP. It offers a clearinghouse mechanism for legal transparency and open access to environmental legislation. But then there are also toolkits, which are the national focal points for the Montevideo Environmental Law Program, for instance, have really found to be quite useful to their works. And this section, these toolkits are helping to integrate not only the text that comes from e-learning, but legal databases as well, and case studies and model law provisions to enhance decision making, to enhance access really to environmental law resources. And these are such crucial tools for promoting, I think, digital transformation when it comes to environmental law and policy. And it's because really they help to integrate e-learning, data tools, and legal databases, which we hope are ultimately enabling countries, but also new sectors of users such as yourselves. And that's assuming that some of you are not already using InforMEA, but it helps to provide easier access to information. And hopefully that then results in more efficient decision making through also being able to access the case studies, the model laws, and the good practice examples that they provide. So the impact and the reach of InforMEA since its inception over the last decade and a half has really been impressive. As I mentioned, it brings together over 20 MEA secretariats to provide a single access point for treaties, for decisions that are coming out of the meetings of the Conference of Parties to different MEAs. It also houses all of the national reports, laws, and e-learning courses. So it's really been a tool that's designed to support implementation, to support transparency and capacity building across the environmental governance landscape. So we can think of it as a digital backbone that's connecting the legal and then the institutional architecture of environmental protection, including the governance of one of our most critical resources, like water. So on InforMEA, you'll find several key treaties related to freshwater and aquatic ecosystems. And these include, as you can see on the screen, under the treaties tab, and InforMEA is really quite easy, I think, in my view, to navigate. So under the treaties tab is where you can search by themes. So you see on the screen, biological diversity, chemicals and waste, climate and atmosphere, environmental governance, land and agriculture. But now we're looking at the tab, the theme of marine and freshwater. So these include the UN Watercourses Convention, which governs international rivers and promotes equitable and sustainable use. And then also the Convention on the Protection and Use of Transboundary Watercourses and International Lakes, or also known as the UNECE Water Convention. And this is a regional treaty, but it's open to global accession, focusing on cooperation and integrated water resource management. You'll also find in the same tab additional water-related treaties like the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, which protects water-linked ecosystems and biodiversity-rich wetlands of international importance. But these instruments, I think they not only establish the legal frameworks, but I think they could also serve as anchor points for environmental auditing, for sustainable development, and at the end of the day, for cross-border cooperation. Now, to make these frameworks more accessible, as I mentioned before, InforMEA also offers free self-paced e-learning courses. And I should also say that this is one of the most popular areas of the InforMEA portal. And among the many courses that we have are two that I'd like to highlight under the marine and freshwater tab of the e-learning section. So you can find that again on the top banner, on the top ribbon, you'll find free e-learning courses. And once you click there, they're also arranged according to the same thematic areas that the treaty texts are arranged in. So under marine and freshwater, there's the introduction to the international legal framework on freshwater resources. And this is really a concise course that outlines global water law and the institutional arrangements for its implementation. And we also have a course on the greening of water law. So this was developed with partners, and it helps to explore how water laws can embed sustainability and environmental protection. And this is, I think, a particularly relevant topic for auditors who are focused on long-term resource management. So again, these courses are completely free and available in multiple languages. And where they are not, we are in the process of making those available in their language version. I'd be so excited, so delighted to explore ways to collaborate further, whether this is, through shared capacity building efforts, integrating these tools into more of your programs or more of your training materials, or just having consultations with you to gather insights on how MEA implementation is being monitored in practice, or how it could help to advance MEA implementation. So don't hesitate to reach out if you'd like to explore any specific features or opportunities to tailor this content to national auditing needs.